A chiffon cake is a standout cake that's known for its light, airy texture and also because it's super moist. Today, I'm super excited to share with you one of the most popular questions that has been asked, and that is all about yellow cake or white cake. Now, we've done so many chocolate recipes, and everybody wants to know what's the perfect yellow cake. Well, today I'm going to show you what I believe to be the perfect yellow cake, and that is a chiffon cake. Because not only is it nice and airy, but it's also really moist. So I have 9 egg whites in the bowl of my mixer here with a whisk attachment, and I'm going to start frothing them up before I add a little bit of cream of tartar. Now this is a half teaspoon of cream of tartar, and what cream of tartar does is it contributes to the stability of your egg white foam, or in this case it's going to be a meringue because we're adding sugar to it. So it adds that strength and structure, which will ultimately give you really great volume in your cake. Now, a chiffon cake, it's not a creaming method cake. It's actually more similar to a sponge cake in which you whip the eggs. In this case, I'm whipping egg whites separately from the yolks to build volume. So while this is whipping, I'm going to add a little bit of flavoring. Since we're making a basic cake, an all-purpose cake, I'm gonna use vanilla today. And I really love using a vanilla bean because I think it adds really great flavor. But if you didn't have a vanilla bean, you could certainly use vanilla extract. About 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract here would give you a very similar flavor. Now, use just the seeds in this mixture. Now, the egg whites, they're doing really nicely here. They're built up. Looks like we have soft peaks, and now I'm gonna start adding a little bit of sugar. And egg whites plus sugar equals a meringue. So this is 3/4 of a cup of regular granulated sugar. As always, when you're making a meringue, you wanna gradually add the sugar. Now, gradually adding the sugar, what it does is it helps the sugar dissolve into the egg whites so you don't get any gritty texture. I have 7 egg yolks here, and to that I'm going to add 3/4 of a cup of whole milk and a 1/2 cup of safflower oil or any neutral flavored oil. So mix these ingredients together just until they're nicely combined. And then for the dry ingredients, I have 2 1/4 cups of cake flour, 3/4 of a cup of granulated sugar, 2 1/4 teaspoons of baking powder, and 3/4 of a teaspoon of coarse salt. So just mix these ingredients together until they're nicely combined in a large bowl. Now your wet ingredients go right in to the dry ingredients here. Mix these together. So now gradually add a little bit, maybe about 1/4 of your egg white mixture into your base batter. And this is the technique of folding. So what you're doing with this initial amount of egg white or meringue is you're lightening the batter up slightly, making it easier to then fold in the rest of the egg white without deflating it too much. Now today I'm using a traditional pan for a chiffon cake, which is one of these 10-inch anodized aluminum tube pans. So this is a typical angel food cake pan. Oftentimes a lot of recipes will say, oh, you can only bake in this pan because the batter itself needs to crawl up the sides, but I have made this cake in a lot of different baking pans. So you could butter and flour and use a little piece of parchment. A 9-inch cake pan, you can use a few of these if you wanted to create a layer cake. So this batter does work. You just need to make sure that you're buttering and flouring so that the batter has something to kind of crawl up to or stick on. So make sure your oven is preheated to 325 degrees with the rack in the middle of the oven. So as always, when you're folding ingredients, you want to make sure that you're scraping the perimeter of the bowl and then you're bringing the batter up and over on top of itself. So scrape around, up and over, and I'm rotating the bowl as I do this. So this looks nice. Pour it right into your tube pan here. So this goes right into your 325 degree oven for about 52 to 55 minutes. It's gonna be nice and puffy and lightly golden brown on top, so right into the oven. So the chiffon cake, it's been out of the oven and it's cooled completely. Now, as with an angel food cake, you wanna cool it upside down. So that's why these tube pans with the feet on the bottom of them are really great. So you can see it's a nice light golden brown color. It's puffed up really beautifully, and I'm gonna take a very thin blade. This is a carving knife, it's flexible, and you wanna glide this around the outside of the pan. So you want to firmly press along the perimeter of the pan here. And you should be able to pop the cake right out. Take your knife and go along the bottom of the pan. And with a little bit of a shimmy here, should be able to take the cake out nicely. And so now I'm going to cut this into layers here. And as always, whenever I'm cutting a cake, I like to use these rotating cake stands. They really help to give you a nice even layering, even frosting. And let's see, we have about a 3-inch cake here. So we're gonna cut these into 1 inch. I'm gonna eyeball it here. So each layer should be about 1 inch in thickness. The top layer is always a little bit thicker because you do have this dome. So keep turning the cake stand and turning your knife and gradually moving your way into the center of the cake. So there you have a beautiful bottom layer. You can see how nice and light it is, and it's really, really moist. I'm gonna create the other layer here. And there we have the second layer of the cake. So now to assemble, I have some macerated strawberries, and what that means is the strawberries have been cut up and mixed with a little bit of sugar and a little bit of lemon juice as well. And what the lemon juice does is it brings out the beautiful, vibrant red color. And then I have some lightly sweetened whipped cream here. This goes right on top of the strawberries. So just dollop the whipped cream around. Add your next layer right on top. Give it a little bit of a push here, and then another layer of strawberries and whipped cream. The top to your masterpiece here. So now if you were making this cake with the strawberries and cream, you would want to refrigerate your cake maybe about 20 to 30 minutes just so that you get a nice clean slice and everything sticks together. But I can't wait. I'm gonna dust it with a little bit of confectioner's sugar. And there you have it, you guys. This is my favorite all-purpose go-to cake, a chiffon cake. Give it a try. I promise you'll love the results. If you have any kitchen conundrums or baking conundrums, write in the comment section below or reach out to us using the hashtag kitchen conundrums. Enjoy, guys.